Welcome back to Stoic Wisdom TV. I know you probably clicked on this video because that thumbnail hooked you. But stick with me until the end, and I promise you'll walk away seeing life's toughest moments, petrol, lies, insults, all of it in a completely new light. Today, we're diving into something profound, something that flips the script on how we handle conflict and drama. By the time we're a minute in, you'll start to understand why shouting, explaining, or reacting often hands your power to someone else while staying silent can make you untouchable. In a world obsessed with noise, where everyone's fighting to be heard, silence isn't just a pause, it's a strategy, a shield, and a declaration of strength. This isn't about being passive or weak. It's about being so grounded in your truth that you don't need to waste words on those who don't deserve them. Let's unpack this together, weaving through stories, Stoic wisdom, and real-life lessons to show you how silence can become your greatest weapon. Oh, and before we dive in, I've got something special for you, a free resource called the Stoic Guide to Unbreakable Confidence. It's loaded with tools to help you master your mind and navigate life like a true Stoic. Grab it now, the link's in the description or pinned comment. Alright, let's get started. Picture this, someone's spreading lies about you, twisting your story, painting you as the villain. Your gut screams to set things straight, to lay out the facts, to prove you're not what they're saying. It feels like if you don't speak up, the lie will spread like wildfire, burning your reputation to the ground. But here's the hard truth, the one most people miss. The more you explain, the weaker you look. The more you chase clarity, the more chaos they create. Why? Because liars aren't after truth, they are after your reaction. They want to see you flinch, to watch you scramble, to turn your defense into proof of guilt. It's not about what's true, it's about shaking your calm, making you perform your innocence so they can spin it against you. This is where Stoic wisdom steps in, offering a lifeline in the storm. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest philosophers, wrote, "If it is not true, do not say it. If it is not right, do not do it." That's your compass. You don't need to plead your case or justify your character to people who've chosen to distort it. Truth has something lies don't, endurance. Lies burn bright and fast, like a spark in dry grass, but they fizzle out just as quickly. Truth moves slower, like gravity pulling everything back to center. And it doesn't need your defense, it reveals itself with time. When you choose silence, you're not hiding, you're playing the long game, trusting that the cracks in their story will show without you saying a word. I knew a guy named James who lived this truth. He was rising fast at his company, earning respect left and right, when a jealous co-worker started spreading lies, claiming James had cut corners on a big project. The rumors hit hard, colleagues gave him the side eye, and James felt the weight of their doubt. His first instinct was to confront the guy, to pull up emails, data, anything to clear his name. But something stopped him. Instead of reacting, he stayed silent. He kept showing up, doing his job with excellence, letting his actions speak louder than any defense could. Weeks later, the truth broke through, not because James fought for it, but because the co-worker's own shady history came to light. James's silence didn't just protect his reputation, it amplified his strength. He didn't need to shout to be vindicated, he just needed to stay steady. That's the power of silence when lies come for you. You don't have to jump into the fray, because the fray is their trap. Instead, root yourself in your values, know who you are, and no one's fiction can shake you. Trust that lies are fragile, crumbling under their own weight when given enough time. And let karma do its quiet work. Liars often trap themselves in their own web, and all you need to do is step back and watch. Silence isn't surrender, it's self-respect, a refusal to let someone else's story rewrite your reality. But what happens when the pain cuts deeper? When it's not just lies, but betrayal that shakes your world. Betrayal doesn't just hurt, it shifts the ground beneath you. It comes from the people you trusted most, friends who stab you in the back, partners who break their promises, family who let you down when you needed them. When it hits, it's like a punch to the chest, and your first impulse is to confront them, to demand answers, to cry out, "How could you do this?" You crave closure, some explanation to make sense of the pain. But here's the cold reality. Betrayers have already justified their actions in their minds. They either don't see the damage they've caused or, worse, they see it and don't care. The more you chase answers, the more you tear open your wound, giving them power over your peace. Betrayers thrive on your reaction. Your anger, your hurt, your confusion is their validation, proof they still matter to you. So what happens when you give them nothing? No rage, no tears, no desperate pleas, just silence. That's when they feel the true cost of what they've done. Silence isn't just absence, it's a void that forces them to confront what they've lost. Seneca, another Stoic heavyweight, wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Betrayal is friction, it burns, but it refines you, stripping away illusions and showing you who's truly in your corner." I saw this play out with a woman named Sarah. She had a best friend of 15 years, someone she shared everything with: dreams, fears, triumphs. But one day, Sarah discovered her friend had been spreading her private struggles to others, undermining her success out of jealousy. The betrayal was gut-wrenching, and Sarah's first urge was to confront her, to unleash years of trust turned to ash. But she chose a different path. She went silent. No fight, no drama, just a quiet exit. She stopped calling, stopped texting, stopped showing up. Her friend braced for a blow-up, ready to deflect or justify, but all she got was absence. That silence hit harder than any argument could. Months later, the friend reached out, desperate to reconnect, but Sarah had moved on, her peace intact. Silence wasn't just her shield, it was her victory. When betrayal strikes, the Stoic move is clear: accept who they've shown themselves to be, not who you hoped they were. Don't waste words on someone who's already devalued you. You don't need to make them see what they chose to ignore. Walk away without explanation, because silence forces reflection, and reflection is what betrayers fear most. Your absence becomes your answer, louder than any confrontation could ever be. Sometimes, though, the attack isn't as heavy as betrayal. It's sharper, more immediate, like an insult slung your way. Insults are the cheap shots of the insecure, whether it's a sarcastic jab, a passive-aggressive dig, or a straight-up verbal attack. The goal is always the same: to provoke you. Insulters don't care about truth. They want your reaction, because your reaction is their power. The moment you snap back, raise your voice, or defend yourself, you've handed them the win. It doesn't matter how clever your comeback is. If you engage, you're playing their game. The real victory lies in refusing to step into the ring. Marcus Aurelius nailed it when he said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When someone insults you, they're inviting you to sink to their level, to trade your dignity for a shouting match. But a Stoic stays above the fray. He doesn't flinch, doesn't fire back, observes, stays calm, and lets the insult fall flat. Silence in the face of an insult isn't weakness. It's a power move that strips the insulter of control. I watched this unfold with a guy named David. He just landed a big promotion at work when a jealous co-worker took a shot at him during a company event. Guess they're giving promotions to anyone these days, the guy sneered, loud enough for the room to hear. All eyes turned to David, waiting for his response. But David didn't bite. He locked eyes with the guy, gave a faint smile, and said nothing. No comeback, no tension, just silence. In that moment, he owned the room. The co-worker's jab landed like a dud, and David's calm made the guy look petty. Silence doesn't just deflect insults, it turns them back on the sender, exposing their weakness without you lifting a finger. The key to handling insults is recognizing what they're after: your peace. Don't give it up. Let your stillness speak: a calm face, a steady tone, and zero reaction send a message louder than words. You don't move me. Hold your frame. Because confidence doesn't argue, and self-respect doesn't explain. When you refuse to stoop, their words lose weight, and you walk away stronger. But what about those moments when the game isn't as direct? When someone doesn't insult you outright, but plays a more cunning hand, like pretending to be the victim? Some people don't want solutions, they want attention. They don't want to fix problems, they want to control the narrative. These are the victim players, the ones who twist reality, shed crocodile tears, and flip the script to make you the villain. The more you try to explain yourself, the worse it gets, because to everyone else, it looks like you're attacking someone who's hurting. They've rewritten the story, erased their role, and cast you as the aggressor, all while basking in sympathy. This isn't conflict, it's theater, and you've been handed the role of the bad guy. Stoic wisdom sees through this trap. Epictetus said, "To complain is always non-productive and never appropriate." Victim players don't complain for progress, they complain for power. If you step in to defend yourself, you fuel their act, giving them the drama they thrive on. The only way to win is to walk off the stage. Silence shuts down their show, leaving them with no audience and no script. I knew a woman named Rachel who mastered this. She worked with a co-worker who was a pro at manipulation. Every time she was called out for mistakes, she'd cry, deflect, and shift blame, painting Rachel as the bully. Rachel tried to stay logical, brought evidence, stayed calm, explained the facts. But it backfired. While Rachel spoke reason, her co-worker played emotions, and emotions often win in the court of public opinion. So Rachel stopped. No more defenses, no more debates, just silence. She focused on her work, stayed professional, and let the co-worker's patterns speak for themselves. Over time, people saw the truth, the constant sob stories, the endless enemies, the perpetual injustices. The act collapsed, and Rachel's silence was her vindication. When you face a victim player, don't hang out. They're not listening, they're performing. Stay detached, observing their tactics without absorbing their chaos. Trust that patterns reveal truth. People may buy their story once or twice, but repetition exposes the cracks. Silence lets their mask slip, and you don't need to lift a finger to make it happen. Sometimes, though, the pain isn't as calculated as a victim's gamete's quieter, more insidious. Like when your worth goes unnoticed. There's no wound sharper than indifference. You show up, you give, you care, making calls, sending texts, pouring your energy into others only to get silence, disinterest, or half-hearted replies in return. It's not a loud betrayal or a dramatic fight. It's the slow erosion of your value in their eyes. Your instinct is to double down, to prove your worth, to remind them why you matter. But here's the painful truth. The more you chase their validation, the less they see you. People don't value what's always there, they value what's scarce, what they might lose. When you're constantly available, you don't become essential, you become invisible. Stoicism hands you your power back. Seneca said, "Time discovers truth. Sometimes, the truth others need to discover is your absence." When you stop reaching out, you create a void that forces them to feel your worth or reveals they never deserved it. I saw this with a guy named Jake. He was the reliable one, the friend who checked in, the co-worker who remembered birthdays, the partner who always asked about your day. But he noticed a pattern: no one asked about his day. If he stopped reaching out, weeks would pass without a word. He realized he wasn't valued, he was convenient. So he made a choice: no arguments, no ultimatums, just silence. He stopped calling, stopped texting, stopped showing up for those who didn't reciprocate. The result? The people who mattered reached out, while the rest faded away. His silence wasn't punishment, it was clarity. When your worth is ignored, stop chasing. If they can't see your value when you're present, let them feel it when you're gone. Say nothing. Silence forces awareness, making your absence undeniable. Observe who steps up. The people who truly care won't need reminders. Your energy is too valuable to waste on those who don't see it. Then there are those moments when the challenge is more aggressive. When someone doesn't just ignore you but actively tries to rattle you. Some people don't want peace, they want a reaction. They poke, they prod, they sling comments designed to sting, not because they're brave, but because it's the only way they feel powerful. The moment you flinch, argue, or let your emotions flare, they've won. They've pulled you into their game, made you dance to their tune. The truth is, their goal isn't conflict, it's control. They want to break your composure, to make you act out of emotion rather than strength. Stoicism turns provocation into a test of self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. You can't stop people from trying to rattle you, but you can deny them the one thing they crave: your reaction. Silence in the face of provocation isn't weakness, it's armor. I knew a guy named Adam who nailed this. He worked with a co-worker who lived for chaos. Every meeting, every interaction, there was a job, a sarcastic comment, a passive-aggressive dig, always vague enough to dodge accountability. At first, Adam would bite, defending himself, arguing, explaining. But each time, he left drained, while his co-worker thrived on the tension. Then Adam shifted. The next time a jab came, he looked at the guy, gave a faint nod, and stayed silent. No sarcasm, no anger, just calm. The co-worker faltered, thrown off by the lack of fuel. Over time, he stopped trying, because without Adam's reaction, his provocations fell flat. When someone provokes you, spot the pattern. Repetition reveals their intent. Hold your frame, refusing to let emotional bait pull you out of alignment. Let your calm be your weapon. The more unshakable you are, the more powerless they become. Silence doesn't just neutralize provocation, it exposes the provocateur's weakness. And then there's the final twist. The moment when silence speaks loudest, when someone regrets losing you. After taking you for granted, ignoring your value, assuming you'd always be there. They finally notice your absence. The calls stop going through, the texts go unanswered. The door they thought would stay open is locked. Suddenly, they remember how you listened, how you showed up, how you gave more than you got. It hits them. They didn't just lose a person, they lost a presence, a light, a constant. But by then, it's too late. The truth is, if someone only values you after you're gone, they never truly valued you when it mattered. The worst thing you can do is go back just because they're waving a flag of remorse. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Self-mastery means you don't return to places that broke you. You don't lower your standards for their guilt. And you don't explain your silence, you let it speak. I saw this with a woman named Olivia. She poured everything into her relationship: time, love, energy. Her partner grew complacent, taking her for granted, assuming she'd always be there. Until one day, she left. No fight, no tears, just a quiet exit. At first, he shrugged it off. Then the weeks turned to months, and the silence became deafening. He called, texted, begged for a second chance, promising to change. But Olivia had healed in her silence. She didn't need his regret to validate her worth. She had already found her peace. Her silence wasn't spite, it was freedom. When someone regrets losing you, don't give them an easy way back. If your value was invisible before, your absence needs to stay visible now. Resist the urge to explain. Let them feel the weight of their choices without you softening the blow. Stand firm in your silence, not out of anger, but out of respect for yourself. They had their chance and squandered it. Now they live with the consequences. So what ties all these moments together? Lies, betrayal, insults, victim playing, being taken for granted, provocation, regret. They're not just random challenges. They're tests of your character, your self-control, your ability to rise above the noise. Silence isn't about dodging conflict. It's about mastering yourself so completely that no one else can steal your peace. In a world that thrives on reaction, where everyone's shouting to be heard, silence is revolutionary. It's not the absence of power, it's the embodiment of it. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control what others do, betray, insult, or provoke, but we can control how we respond. And often, the most powerful response is none at all. Silence lets you step out of the trap, reclaim your energy, and let time, truth, and karma do the heavy lifting. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. When you embrace silence, you're not just refusing to play someone else's game, you are rewriting the rules. I've been there, caught in the heat of the moment, ready to fire back, to explain, to prove myself. But every time I chose silence instead, I walked away stronger. I remember when a close friend spread a lie about me to cover their own mistake. My instinct was to confront them, to lay out the truth. But I held back, stayed quiet, and focused on my own path. Months later, the truth came out, not because I fought for it, but because lies always unravel. My silence didn't just protect my dignity, it amplified my strength. The pain for most of us comes from believing we need to be heard to be validated. But the Stoic knows his worth doesn't depend on someone else's approval. He doesn't chase closure, beg for respect, or collapse under pressure. He steps back, stays silent, and lets the universe restore balance. Silence isn't just a tactic, it's a way of life, a commitment to living with integrity, even when the world demands your reaction. So, how do you make silence your superpower? It starts with practice, with small, intentional choices that build your strength over time. When lies or provocation hit, pause and breath, count to 5. Let the urge to react pass. Root yourself in your truth. knowing your values so no one's narrative can shake you. Play the long game, trusting that truth and karma don't need your help, they just need time. Create distance from those who betray or take you for granted, redirecting your energy to yourself and those who see your worth. Stay detached, observing others' chaos without absorbing it. Hold your frame, staying calm and unbothered, because composure speaks louder than words. Invest in your mental strength through habits like meditation, journaling, or reading Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius or Seneca. Choose your battles wisely, not every slight deserves your energy. And practice patience, letting time do its work while you focus on growth. This journey isn't just about handling tough moments, it's about becoming a man who moves through life with unshakable confidence. Silence isn't a trick, it's a reflection of your inner strength, your refusal to let others dictate your peace. The Stoic doesn't need to yell to be heard, fight to be respected, or explain to be understood. He knows his worth, trusts the truth, and lets his actions speak louder than any words could. Life, whether it's relationships, work, or friendships, will test your ability to stay centered. When you master silence, you master yourself. You stop chasing validation and start inspiring respect. You stop fearing loss and start embracing your power. You become a man who doesn't just survive the noise, he thrives above it. Let me leave you with a story that brings this full circle. A friend of mine, Chris, was blindsided by a betrayal at work. A colleague he trusted threw him under the bus to save face, spreading lies that cost Chris a promotion. The old Chris would have fought back, argued, pleaded his case, but he'd been studying Stoicism, and he chose a different path: silence. He didn't confront, didn't complain, just kept showing up, doing his work, staying calm. Over time, the colleague's lies caught up with him, and Chris's quiet strength earned him respect from everyone else. A year later, he got a better role, not because he fought, but because he stayed unshakable. His silence wasn't just strategy, it was his legacy. That's the power of silence. It doesn't just protect you, it elevates you. It turns lies into dust, betrayal into lessons, insults into noise, and regret into someone else's burden. You don't need to prove your worth to those who don't see it, you need to live it, quietly, powerfully, unapologetically. So, here's the final word. In a world that thrives on noise, silence is your rebellion. It's not about being passive or weak, it's about being so secure in your truth that you don't need to shout it. Lies don't need your defense, they'll unravel. Betrayal doesn't need your confrontation, it'll haunt them. Insults don't need your comeback, they'll fall flat. Provocation doesn't need your reaction, it'll fizzle out. Regret doesn't demand your forgiveness, it's their lesson, not yours. You don't need to fight to win, or explain to be right, or react to be powerful. Silence is your shield, your sword, your statement. It's the language of those who've mastered themselves, who know that time and truth always settle the score. I want to hear from you. Have you ever used silence to handle a tough situation? How did it turn out? Drop your stories in the comments. Your comment could inspire someone else to stay strong. If this video hit home, hit that smash like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more real talk on Stoicism, self-mastery, and living for purpose. Don't forget to grab your free Stoic guide to unbreakable confidence, links in the description. Until next time, stay silent, stay strong, and let the universe do the talking. If this message resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that will help you create the life you truly deserve.